Hello, I'm Don Hammock, Sports Information Director at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. We're coming to you from a very happy A.L. May Memorial Stadium where the Gulf Coast Bulldogs defeated the Jones Bobcats 20-14 before a rowdy crowd. We'll talk with Coach Jack Wright and show you some highlights from the clash between the number 4 Bulldogs and number 13 Bobcats. We'll also talk to a couple players. Later on in the show, we'll talk with golf coach Tommy Snell about his 2019-20 team, which finished 3rd in the nation last year, and see what they have looking forward to this upcoming season. And last, we'll introduce you to Omni Wells, a player who is a 3rd-year sophomore at Gulf Coast. He's done a great job and is a huge contributor to the Bulldogs. We'll meet him and meet his inspiration. Stick around. We're on the field with victorious head coach Jack Wright after a big 20-14 win over Jones. You had time to kind of think about what's happened here tonight, and what are your impressions?
Not really. It's hard to process something like that in a short period of time. But I could have told you Sunday night or Monday early in the week that it was going to be a close game, and told our team that. Told them to prepare for a 4-quarter battle. Told them it was going to come down to something small at the end, and turns out that's exactly what it was. It was a big defensive play at the end.
For 3 quarters, y'all were really in control, up 20-0 going into the 4th quarter. What were y'all doing well, especially the first 3 quarters?
They converting 3rd downs. We were staying kind of ahead of the chains. We were in some 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 8 maybe every now and then, but we were getting to the sticks in the passing game. And that really what allowed us to continue some drives and put a couple of those scores in. So I think that's what it was. That's kind of the thing that changed, I think, in the second half, is we didn't get those. But credit Jones. I think, they made a couple of adjustments at halftime and made it more difficult to get a beat on what they were doing.
Y'all's defense was really good on 3rd down. I think they were maybe 1 of 10, something like that on the night. And I think they had 1 conversion on a penalty. What did you see out of your defensive squad?
Same thing I've seen in all 4 games. We've got a good defense. They're a good group, very good junior college defense. I knew it would be difficult for Jones to move the football. I think it would be difficult for a lot of teams to move the football. But I think their effort tonight and their production on 3rd down is what stands out as another difference in the game.
I think they held Jones about 235 yards of total offense, so that's always a great thing. This is number 4 versus number 13, huge matchup in the NJCAA. Things kind of turned a little bit there in the 4th quarter. Block punt, I think, really changed momentum a little bit. How were y'all able to kind of withstand that?
That big defensive stand. I mean, you're right. That gave them momentum. It gave them new life. I don't think they had scored up until that point. They punched 1 in. And you could feel the momentum shift. I mean, we've all been at those types of games before. It was exactly that type of moment. But it was almost like I was expecting it. Things were going really well for us the first 3 quarters, and that's a good football team, a well-coached program. They're not going to quit. They got a lot of fight. So I almost expected it to come down, to the very end, and luckily we made 1 more play at the end.
What did you see on that last possession by Jones there that ended in the red zone, big defensive stand?
Just everything. I mean, they've got a really good running back. That number 1's a talented player. He was Mr. Football Alabama, I think, last year. And so late in the game, what happens is, even though you're very talented and you're really good on defense, those guys get tired. I mean, it's a hot night, and those offensive linemen are leaning on them all night. So he was able to take, our little bit of being gassed and turn it into a strong finish for him. He had some really good runs there at the end. They've got good players. We've got good players. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
I can't even tell you who we're playing next week, but what does this game mean for y'all headed forward?
1-0 in the South Division. Look at last year. Thought we had a solid ball club, but we played 2 really good football teams to start division play in Jones and Colin, and we started out 0-2, and so it kind of took a little bit of a wind out of us in our season last year. So this is a big division win. I mean, anybody that knows anything about Mississippi JUCO and watches it, up close or from afar, they know Mississippi Gulf Coast and Jones are going to be contenders for the MACJC South. And it'll be the same thing the next 2 or 3 weeks as we continue to go down the gauntlet.
We'll head up to Weston next week. They're playing on a new artificial surface up there. Look forward to seeing y'all again next week. Congratulations.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate that.
On the field with Navonteque Strong, linebacker from Forest, Mississippi. The freshman had a big play to end the game. What happened on the last play?
I just felt like we needed to play big-time players, make big-time plays and big-time games.
Y'all were really stout through the first 3 quarters. What were y'all doing effectively early on especially?
With defense side, everybody doing their job, make sure everything is right.
You got out to a big lead thanks to the offense. What did you see from those guys tonight?
Offense came out and played ball. They did good on their job. Chance threw a couple good balls, more than a couple.
What happened there in the fourth quarter? Jones was able to get back in, and I think that's a sign of a good team.
See, defense had a couple mistakes, but other than that, I think the defense did their job.
What does this mean for you guys going forward?
Just got to make sure everything's correct, no mistakes. Defense win championships.
All right, Bug, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gulf Coast running back Omni Wells is a third-year sophomore who was redshirted as a freshman. Let's meet Omni Wells and learn who his inspiration is.
I started playing football when I was like around 5. I liked playing it because it was a family thing. You know, my brothers played football, and it inspired me to play. Practice, being able to go out there with a great attitude every day, focused on getting better each and every day. Being out there with my brothers, just playing around with the defense, giving them good looks, and the defense giving us looks. That makes me a great player, just being around them. The facility, like it's home, and it's close to home. Just being around here, when I can come in and feel like I can stay the night over here, it's a really great pick for me. Coach A, he's a great coach. He was an offensive lineman, so he teaches us how to read defenses before the play even starts. So that's a plus side. He takes our ideas and incorporates it into the plans. He's a great coach. Austin Bolton is in his name. Bolton, he's lightning. He can make cuts. He can run you over if you have to. He can catch the ball. He can go out and play 8 some. And he's a great player. Sean, he's swift. The blink of an eye, he's past you. You have to be on your all toes to keep up with Sean. He's a great player too. DeAndre House, he's young, but he's so hyped. And that's the thing I like about him. Like, he's good, like he has power. He's swifty too. So it's like me and Austin, we're more of a balanced back, and Sean and DeAndre, they're more swift. Gulf Coast, the atmosphere around here is great. You have the teachers who's willing to help. Everyone is friendly. You know, you don't feel distant from everyone. They're building dorms right now, so it just Gulf Coast is love. It's love in the atmosphere. It's been a journey, learning from guys who was above me, just being patient with myself, and it was a humbling experience to start off my first year not playing, but it bettered me as a person, and me being able to share that with some of my classmates and football players is great. Those guys, the guys up front are powerful. Our secondary is strong. They give us good looks every day in practice, so it's tough, which makes us better. I like to better my skills in bowling and golf. I call them old man sports. So when I go home, me and my friends, we'll go out and bowl some. And then every now and then we'll try to get out there and at least swing the clubs a couple times. My best score was 233, if I'm not mistaken. It's 230 something. Golfing, I really just never got into a real match. I tried it in high school, but I'm more of a putter. My inspiration is my brother. I have one that's at Ole Miss right now. He inspires me every day because he actually tried the junior college route and ended up getting cut, and that didn't stop him at all. So it pushed him, which pushed me. So he's my inspiration. His name is Keyshawn Wells.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants, we help prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Gulf Coast golf coach Tommy Snell's team finished third in the country last year. He's got a bunch of sophomores coming back. Let's talk with Coach Snell about his squad and take a look at those players.
My team is, it's a pleasant surprise. They played really well the first tournament. We were hoping to go back-to-back. You know, we had never won that tournament until last year, 2018, and man, we gave CAC a run for their money, Central Alabama. But even though we finished second, I saw many bright spots. You know, Nathan Woolard finally looks like he's going to play well. He shot 68 the last round, and Jake, of course, was very steady. Finished fifth in the tournament, all-tournament team, and of course, John is John. You know, John plays well every tournament. Now, John really hadn't been playing that well, but he seems to be breaking out of it now, and which is a good thing. So I've got 8 sophomores who are going to really kind of support the team and support those few freshmen I have, and I'm excited. Patrick and Cameron, you know, they're another two that, you know, they're just right there. They both played, and Patrick, had he not made a 9 in the second round, you know, his scoring average would have been low. And then, of course, Cameron played well, shot under par the first 2 rounds. So, you know, it's a pretty good contingent of sophomores there. I wish I had, I wish a couple freshmen would step up, and I'm sure they will before the year's over. It's just hard when you have, you know, that many good sophomores. And Hayden Green and Hamp Ferry, you know, they're pushing it, and Oliver is starting to come around. So that's 8 sophomores that are really starting to play well. Well, I have 4 freshmen, and they're, you know, it's a work in progress for them. It always is with these freshmen. They get a little frustrated, but they have to understand that, you know, these sophomores, I mean, they're good players. They finished 3rd in the nation last year. 2 of them were freshmen up there, and so they just have to realize that, you know, they just have to work hard. I would think that, you know, we're going to be competing for state and region once again. You know, I hope to make it. I think it'd be 12 out of 13 in the district, and I'm not sure how many state championships, conference championships, but we like winning them. So and the way it looks right now, they're playing so well that, you know, if they keep improving and keep working, just like today, they're out here at Pine Bur, and you know, they're competing against each other, and they'll get better. This will be the first time we're going to go to a preview up in Missouri this next month, actually, the beginning of next month, and that'll give us a better idea. I know Kirkwood will be there. Kirkwood was ahead of us until the last round last year in the national championship. I'm not sure if South Mountain will be there, and Walter State, all those teams that vie for the nationals every year, but this will give us a better idea because we'll see some of those teams that'll be competing. Right now, we are recruiting heavily because I only have 4 freshmen, and I'm going to lose 8 sophomores. So Brad Thornton, my assistant, who's done a wonderful job, he's been looking at these players for me and scoping them out. He's been a giant help in that regard because I don't have to do all that paperwork and do all that research. I still do it, you know, because I recruit 365 days a year. But he's kind of looked at the players that we need to look at, and then pretty soon, you know, we're going to put some offers out there. In fact, Brad's offered 2 or 3 people whom we've talked about. So the recruiting process is fast and furious right now. Fast and furious 19, I guess it would be. So I'm excited because we've got eight sophomores we're going to lose, and they're all on scholarship. So it's wide open next year. So these freshmen that we're recruiting, you know, that's one of the things we're telling them. Hey, you know, you want to make a difference, you can at Gulf Coast next year.
Thank you for joining us on Bulldog Blitz. We'll be back next week with another episode. We'll be coming to you from Weston, Mississippi after the Gulf Coast Bulldogs take on the Colin Wolves. We'll see you next time.